So yeah, konnichiwa, Osaka. I'm Devcon. I'm CTO of Devcon. We empower users to reclaim, to own, and manage their data, and we want to enable developers to create data-rich applications with privacy by design apps. We are fair believers that fair data economy is coming up to us, and that's why we started working, developed a library called rds.js, which enables us to do different kind of applications really fast on Swarm. One of the things we started doing is a concept called Fair Drive, which is our attempt how we will give users storage and means and give data back to the people. The specs can be found on GitHub. Everybody are welcome to contribute. Really welcome. If you're not willing to contribute, we also started the Give It campaign, so you can give us some money, which we can continue working on it. Yeah, but basically that's it. We will slowly now go to the apps that we built using the library that I said before. One is the Swarm Hole, which will be difficult to show because there is no internet here. And then the another one is Fair Drop. So Swarm Hole is drop, simple. You drop a file and you send it. Fair Drop is a little bit more advanced. It has user interface. You can send, store files to other users, and there's there's chatty. It's kind of a developer sandbox where we use it to test our ideas and how things can work. And then on top of all this, we created consent management suite, which is a GDPR compliant consent management editor and viewer, compliant with the Kantara specification. And on top of it, you can send consents over Swarm and sign them on blockchain, and both parties can then agree or revoke and work on these consents. So yeah, I will leave the talk now to Dan to show you the awesome power of FDS library.
Okay, so I want to go right to the top level of the stack now. We set out to build these applications that are indistinguishable from Web 2, but they're completely Web 3 under the hood, and to have a stable infrastructure. So how did we make these? The distinguishing factor is that we're using both blockchain and Swarm network. We're using blockchain's polyfill elements that aren't available in Swarm yet, like the multi-sig Swarm aspects. And we've prepared a short workshop for us to work through very quickly. So for anyone who wants to follow along, you can go to this address. Yeah. So it's 192.168.50.133.88. That's got all the information you'll need. Bigger.
Can you make the font?
Yeah. Okay, so FDS.js is an NPM module, so normally we just init a new NPM project and add the dependency. We can't do that right now, so we've actually uploaded to Swarm something where we've already built the dependency for you. So if you navigate to that address, you'll see this.
And you have to be on this Wi-Fi, right? So
yeah.
Swarm workshop.
Yeah, so on Swarm Workshop's Wi-Fi, navigate to that address, I'll pop it along for this will work. Just unzip that. Go into the directory and start a new node REPL. We've got this extra flag here just so it just gives us a wait async syntax at the root level. And we can start on the next bit. So just because we're using nodes, we're going to add a stub file class, because that's normally available in the browser. And then special config. Normally we just instantiate FDS with empty arguments, but I'm actually running all this locally. So you can see we've got ENS config, the faucet that gives out free testnet ether, ETH gateway and Swarm gateway. And so just you guys will need to change this to be specific to whatever you want to do, so just create 2 new usernames. Okay, so that's the prep. And now we can just instantiate the FDS library, make new objects with that config that we've just added, and now we get into like the actual FDS syntax itself. So now this is like super high level, so I'll give you a quick idea of what's going on here. What just happened there was we registered the subdomain with the ENS implementation that we've got on the testnet, and registered the private key there. We also registered the address of a contract that we call multi-box.
Public key,
Public key, what did I say?
Private key.
Yeah, public key. Yeah, and the address of the contract called multi-box, which is a contract that we're using to essentially polyfill the feeds multi-sig situation that we were talking about before. So this contract allows another user to come to you and say, okay, we've made a Swarm feed for messages for you and it's at this location. So that's one account, and I can create the other account. And send the file. So it's just a simple stub file. And then this is where we send it. And that path at the end is for multi-box, so you can have multiple different paths that you can send stuff to depending on what application it is, and that enables interoperability across applications. There's also a whole layer of client-side encryption, which is not particularly relevant to this talk, but everything gets encrypted in the browser in FDS.js, so by the time it reaches Swarm, it's already encrypted. And So that's the message has been sent, and then this is the other side where you can go and check. And what this does is it aggregates all of the feeds that were indicated in multi-box, goes through all the different feeds, retrieves them, decrypts them based on the public key in ENS, and then aggregates them into a array. So see there, we've got one message from this user to the other user, and there's all the details underneath. And you can go just into that file and check, and it'll say, hopefully, hello world, which is the message that was sent initially. So actually, anyone who's created an account and a username now, you should be able to send it between each other and be able to send messages. So that's the super high level bit. And then I can show you a little bit what is going on under the hood there. So for example, this is the swarm feeds bit of the library. And this is what Louis was talking about. I've reduced down to a simple get and set interface. So you can see it's got this two-step process. The update resource relates to the feed, and this send request relates to the actual file itself, the data. So in FDS there's like 3 levels. It's the initial pointer that points to the manifest of the data, then the manifest itself, and then the raw data stored in binary format. So you can see the first 2 levels here. And I've got a bit at the bottom of the thing where I'll show you a little bit how that kind of manifests itself in Swarm itself. So that's just getting some dependencies to make dependencies available. So it's Web3 utils. And then this is using a lower level interface that's related to this initial account to set the topic name test to be the value test2. Then we can start dig into that a little bit. So that's the address that we've created for Alice. And this is what the topic ends up looking like once we've cast it to hex and padded it with some zeros. And then we can put that together to have a look at what has actually ended up in Swarm there. So this is missing the encryption step, just so we can see what's going on. If I go to bash now, and curl this address. So you can see this is what Louis just showed us using the BCC feed, topic ID that I've just generated up here, and the user address for Alice should give us back a hash, and then we can use BCC raw to query that and have a look at what's in there. That brings us back the value that we initially set here.
Percent at the end?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the percent at the end is. It just ends up being there sometimes. So there's you can see that's 2 steps in what is actually quite a complex set of interrelating data that ends up with this fair drop situation where we're holding multiple feeds and then aggregating everything into a set of messages coming from all different users. So, that's it.
So we have a short break.